Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that unravels your sources to pull out those key nuggets of knowledge and insight. Today, we're doing something a little different, actually. We're taking a deep dive into a forecast it's just around the corner. And we're doing it just by looking at its title. So on our stack today, we just have one source. It's titled U.S. EV Sales, July 2025 Forecast, and it's from InsideEVs.at. Okay, so let's dig into this. Now, I know it might seem a bit unconventional maybe to pull insights from just a title, but, for you, our listener who follows these things closely, what kind of subtle stuff can we actually figure out from just these few words?
Yes.
Especially, for a future-looking document like this one.
Yeah, that's exactly where it gets really interesting, isn't it? Often a title alone, especially for a report like this, it can tell us a huge amount. It's kind of like a signpost pointing towards what's important, what topics are coming up, where the focus is really heading. And this particular title, well, it seems simple, but it sets a very clear stage for us.
Right. So the first thing that jumps out, I guess, is the topic, U.S. EV sales. It's just so clear. You immediately know the geography, the industry. It tells you there's, well, enough happening, enough interest in electric vehicles, specifically in the U.S., to even need a forecast, right?
Exactly. And it's not just EV sales globally. It's U.S. EV sales. That's significant. It immediately focuses us on a market segment with its own unique flavor.
Unique how? Like different from Europe or China?
Well, yeah, think about it. The U.S. has its own distinct regulatory environment, right? Different incentives, different rules. Plus, you've got different consumer tastes, maybe leaning more towards bigger vehicles, trucks, that kind of thing.
Okay. And the charging infrastructure challenges are probably different, too.
Precisely. So forecasting U.S. sales isn't just, a piece of the global pie. It has to account for specific U.S. economic drivers, maybe policy things like the Inflation Reduction Act, even how specific brands are doing things differently just for the U.S. market. It suggests a level of complexity there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not just cars selling. It's cars selling here under these conditions. Okay, so let's move on to the time part. July 2025 forecast, like you said, is looking forward just a few months away. So
Yeah.
This isn't history, it's prediction. For a market like EVs, which everyone agrees is moving fast, what does the fact that someone's doing a monthly near-future forecast tell us?
That precision, July 2025, that's really key. It suggests the market is so, well, dynamic, maybe even volatile, that looking just quarterly or annually isn't enough detail for the people who need to know.
They need faster updates.
Exactly. We're talking about needing sort of monthly agility and predictions. And why July specifically?
Yeah, good question.
It could be anything, really. Maybe it signals the start of a new sales quarter, perhaps, or maybe the impact of summer driving habits kicking in.
Or maybe new models coming out mid-year?
Could be. Or anticipated updates, yeah.
Yeah.
This kind of granularity, this focus on just 1 month, it implies that every single month matters in the EV space. It really underscores the intense competition and the need for really immediate, actionable information.
For everyone involved, manufacturers, dealers,
component suppliers, investors, everyone.
Okay, this is where I think it gets really interesting, too. Just the fact that this analysis exists, right, this forward-looking forecast, and that it's published by a site like InsideEVs.at. That tells us something about the whole information landscape around EVs. What does the source itself, InsideEVs.at, add to how we might read this? Does that tell us anything?
That's a great catch. The .et domain, yeah, it's subtle, but potentially quite significant. While Inside EVs covers global EV news, you're right, their origins and maybe part of their editorial viewpoint could well stem from a European perspective. Italy, specifically.
So they might be looking at the U.S. market through maybe a slightly different lens.
Potentially, yes. It could offer this kind of dual perspective when they analyze U.S. data. It suggests the forecast might maybe implicitly bring in comparisons or context from global EV trends, technology shifts happening elsewhere, maybe even policy ideas from Europe.
Things a purely U.S.-based outlet might not focus on as much.
Exactly. It could add this layer of comparative insight. It might subtly suggest that what's happening in the broader European EV market could, inform how they see the U.S. predictions shaping up.
And it also boosts their credibility, right? They're a dedicated EV news source, not just a general car site.
Definitely. It signals specialization and focus in this specific area.
So let's try and pull this together. What does this all mean for you listening in? Even without seeing a single number from this U.S. EV sales July 2025 forecast, just by kind of dissecting the title, we found quite a few layers here. We've seen how the specific place, the U.S.,
right,
and the specific time, that near-term monthly
Yeah,
focus,
July 2025.
offer these unique clues, and how even the source itself, inside Deves.ida, can shape the perspective.
hmm And this, I think, raises a really important question for you listening. How does knowing about these subtle details behind a report's title, like the specific month, the geography, the publisher's potential background, how does that change the way you might look at information in whatever field you're interested in?
Does it make you look beyond just the headline topic?
Yeah, does it maybe push you to think more about the underlying context, about why someone needs this specific piece of intelligence right now?
That's a good challenge.
Yeah.
And maybe one final thought for everyone to mull over. Just think about how much useful context, how much understanding we can actually get, not just from reading the detailed content of sources, but just from noticing what kinds of reports, what analyses, what forecasts are even being made and shared about a topic.
It's almost like mapping the conversation, isn't it?
Exactly. Like the titles themselves are clues to what the industry is really thinking about, what its unspoken priorities are. It's quite revealing, actually.